Yo, what's up, guys? Brandon B back at you again. And what I'm here to talk about in this, the first edition of the Rebel Method, is this new concept that I call the concept of self, which basically means that you have this particular way that you view yourself, and your concept of self will constantly update. It updates itself, it upgrades, it shifts, it can even downgrade, right? It can downgrade based upon your self-esteem, it can upgrade based upon self-esteem, accomplishments, self-worth, surroundings, the way that people treat you, etc. And the reason why this is so important is because when I think about my upbringing, I think about my evolution to get to the point and to become the man that I am currently right now in this video, is that it required me letting other people down. So this concept of self is constantly going to let people down. You will always run into people who view you a certain way, who know you and think that you have certain traits. For example, I'm a person that if people know me long enough, they'll say he loves basketball, he's a big sports fan. That started to change in the last year to year and a half for me. And because that started to change, I would say my circle started to change. The people in my circle started to view me a little bit different. The conversations had to shift, because if they do not shift, then we probably can't talk as often as we used to, because we just simply don't have enough in common. And I had to accept that. I had to accept the fact that sports just simply do not interest me no more. Because the one thing I noticed about sports was that if you don't really have a stake in it, you don't have some emotional bias or some emotional tie into it, you really don't care who wins. And that can go from the highest to professional to the low in terms of elementary. If your son is playing basketball, obviously they're not as good as LeBron is in the NBA. But if you have an emotional stake towards this elementary game, that game is far more exciting than the NBA game. And that's what started to happen for me. I started losing this emotional bias and this emotional stake in the outcome of football, basketball, boxing. It didn't matter what it was. I don't really care as much. It's still nice to watch, still nice to keep up with at times, but I'm no expert like I used to be. I used to know a whole lot. And I think one thing that started to change for me, like I said, was people started to say I'm pretty weird. Like, oh, that's weird. You gonna watch the game tonight? No. These are the conversations that I would have. And where I'm from, being a person who does not like, we'll say, college basketball, because U of L is such a big thing, Kentucky's such a big thing, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, such a pillar in our community. And the fact that I don't partake, nor do I care about either one of them, it was some type of, it definitely made people view me a little bit weird, a little different, right? People view me a little bit different. And because of that, I had to accept that. I had to accept that I was going to let people down, because I started to develop a new reputation of self, right? A new concept of self. My new concept of self did not involve sports. It involved my family. It involved me individually. What can I do to get better? It didn't involve critiquing the world as a whole anymore. It didn't involve the news. It didn't involve the media. It didn't involve me making sure I stay up to date with the latest trends, the latest way people talk, the new music. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. I changed it all. And my new concept of self, eventually, in the span of a year, people now know me. People now, and what I mean by know me is the people that already knew me before this new upgrade of self, they are now aware of it. So the conversations have to shift. The conversations will shift. So what I'm here to tell you is that you have permission to let other people down when your new concept of self becomes different. If you're a person that is into working out and or should I say is not into working out, not into fitness, and then you want to get into it, you want to dive in it so much that you might want to become a personal trainer, that you might want to become a bodybuilder, a power lifter, etc. And people just don't view you as that person, doesn't matter what people think. When you establish yourself in this new field, this new concept of self, this upgrade, this shift change, people will have to accommodate. People either accommodate or they will make room for the next people who will accommodate you. It's as simple as that. So I'm here to tell you, make room for the new you. And if that new room means people have to shift how they view you, that's fine, and that's preferable. But if they do not view you in the correct manner that allows you to grow, make room for the new people.